When it comes to the construction of inov-8's new Trailfly Ultra G, Ultra G sounds a bit dreary. Welcome back, folks. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. Hope you are all fit and well and training hard out there. If you're new to the channel, well, welcome. It's good to have you along. And don't forget, guys, if you're enjoying the content you watch, at the end of this video, give us a big thumbs up. It really helps out when it comes to the crazy YouTube algorithms. And why not subscribe to the channel if you haven't already? It's completely free. It only takes a second to do. But don't forget to hit that all-important bell icon, because then you'll be notified when we upload any new exciting running related content. But let's get back to today's video. And in today's video, we are looking at a brand and a shoe that's really surprised me. And if I'm honest, it's a brand I've never really gotten on with in the past. It's just dawned on me at the beginning of these reviews. I kind of like go on and build it up, try and build the excitement up for the big reveal of the shoe we're going to take a look at, when I've probably plastered it all over the thumbnail and you probably already know exactly what I'm going to put up. So let's just crack on with the review. And today we are taking an in-depth look at inov-8's Trailfly Ultra G 300 Max. This is a very much hyped first deep midsole trail running shoe from the inov-8 brand, but it's also their first shoe to feature foam compound in the midsole that's been enhanced using their graphene technology. We've already done a first impressions video on this shoe. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check it out. So let's give you a few facts and figures on this very bright green and black trail running shoe from inov-8. It retails in the UK at a pretty hefty £170. Weight wise, it comes in at 362 grams in a men's UK 9.5. We've got a 6mm offset on the shoe, so 25mm on the heel and 19mm under your forefoot. It's available in one colourway for men and for women, this bold black and green colourway. And when it comes down to size, I would say the shoe is true to size with good width in the toe box. That's a bit of info about the spec of this new shoe, but let's dive a bit deeper into the construction of this new inov-8 Trailfly Ultra G 300 Max, and let's start with the upper first. So it's constructed using a very durable yet breathable lightweight mesh construction to offer the runner good levels of protection while out on the trails, but also high levels of ventilation while running in hot conditions. We got some nice structural overlays around the midfoot of that upper to lock you down and to help cut down on any lateral movement within the shoe. Thicker material has been used around that toe box and in the heel cup of the shoe just to offer the runner a bit more protection from trail debris. And when it comes to the heel cup, the ankle collar and the tongue, it's typical inov-8. So we haven't got a big heavy padded cushioned heel cup and ankle collar. And when it comes down to that gusseted tongue in the shoe, it is pretty thin in construction. Working our way down to the midsole of the Trailfly Ultra, and it uses inov-8's new G-Fly compound. This is the world's first graphene enhanced foam compound in a running shoe. If you haven't heard of graphene before, it's definitely worth a Google. It is very impressive material, that's for sure. The G-Fly compound has been developed to provide ultimate comfort and responsiveness and has a claim from inov-8 25% greater level of energy return. It also has some great durability properties, so this compound and midsole should hold up to hundreds and hundreds of comfortable miles. Last but not least, when it comes down to the midsole design, and we've got this adapter flex screw from inov-8 worked across the midsole of the shoe. This has been put in place to offer a good level of responsiveness and to allow the shoe to adapt to uneven and technical trails, so offering a good level of stability while maintaining that kind of traditional inov-8 feel underfoot. Last up is the outsole of the shoe, and you can see it has been clad using inov-8's Graphene Grip rubber compound. Very similar to that G-Fly compound in the midsole, this rubber has been enhanced using graphene as well. So should offer good levels of traction on all surfaces and high levels of durability. Then we got this nice detailed aggressive lug pattern to anchor the foot into place, but also to give you a nice solid and strong platform so you feel confident when landing or changing directions. So there you have it, the Trailfly Ultra G 300 Max from inov-8, a trail running shoe that's been designed for comfort and durability on a big mixture of terrains and over long distance. But we put a good 70 miles into this shoe, so let's go through some of the standout features and see if there's anything we feel could be improved in this new trail running shoe from inov-8. And let's start with the good stuff first. First up is upper comfort and midfoot lockdown, and this has been something in the past that I've had issues with when it comes down to inov-8 shoes. The brand shoes tend to be pretty stripped back when it comes to padding around that ankle collar and in the tongue of the shoe, and I know that allows you to get a really good specific lockdown in a trail running shoe, but like I said, I have had issues, especially when running distance in the past when it comes down to comfort. Even in the Terra Ultra G270s that we reviewed earlier in the year, there's a link in the description if you haven't watched that review, I did have a few comfort issues, even though the shoe surprised me and I really enjoyed running in it. On my longer runs in the shoe, I started to feel them laces through that thin tongue, and the ankle collar was under padded and quite stiff, and you're quite deep in the shoe. So towards the end of a double figured run, that ankle collar started to dig into the top of my foot. So I am very happy to say none of the above issues within the upper of the Trailfly Ultra. It's just been very comfortable straight out of the box, a nice airy feel within that upper. Definitely the best inov-8 upper for my foot shape that I've ever run in. No rubbing, no irritation, no hot spots. Even on the longer runs that I've done in the shoe, no issues to speak of. So it's just been a very comfortable place to be. The Trailfly Ultra still has a pretty thin construction when it comes to the gusseted tongue in the shoe, so it allows you to get a real precise, nice feeling lockdown around your midfoot. But I don't know whether they've added a bit more padding or changed the tongue slightly compared to the Terra Ultra G270, because this has been very comfortable across the top of the foot. None of them issues that I got in the Terra Ultra at all for comfort. No laces pulling through on a longer run or anything like that. And the same thing for the ankle collar. Again, I don't know whether it's a bit of softer material or the shoe's not as deep as the Terra Ultra, but no digging in towards the end of a longer run. So definitely thumbs up when it comes to the changes that have been made to the upper, especially when it comes down to comfort over distance. The G-Fly compound in the midsole is pretty clever stuff. You know, clearly you've got a very deep and very cushioned midsole under your foot, but I wouldn't say it's super soft. It's kind of firm soft, if that makes any sense. It's very, very comfortable, but you still feel connected to the ground under your feet. And as far as energy return, you do feel like you're getting a bit back. I'm not sure about the 25% claim by inov-8, but you definitely feel like you're getting something back, especially on hard compacted trail or tarmac sections. The adapter flex groove through the midfoot of the shoe definitely makes a difference when it comes to performance of this shoe. I think without it, this deep midsole would be pretty stiff and pretty unstable underfoot. So that groove really does add a bit of flexibility to the midfoot of the shoe, but I also think it helps retain a bit of that sort of traditional inov-8 feel, even though we've got that deep midsole. I was a little bit concerned that this groove was going to become a bit of a stone trap, and I know that a lot of you guys were as well. On our first impressions video, a lot of the comments were worried about stones getting stuck in that flex groove. I can honestly say I haven't had one stone stuck in that midsole of the shoe, and I've run this shoe on a big mix of terrains. Also really happy that inov-8 have put a 6mm offset on this shoe. I think that's a much better offset, especially when a shoe is pitched at running a long way, running ultra distance, running when you're super fatigued and struggling. An offset really helps. So when you compare that to the zero drop of the Terra Ultra G270, I think this is a really smart move from inov-8. Last thing to mention has to be the Graphene Grip rubber on the outsole of this shoe. When that Graphene Grip was launched by inov-8 and there were some very bold claims made, I really did have my doubts when they were saying it's the world's best, grippiest rubber on a trail running shoe. But I really like the level of traction that this graphene rubber grip gives you. I really liked it on the Terra Ultra G270s, but with this slightly more aggressive lug pattern, I think the level of traction is even better from the Trailfly Ultra. I can't see this shoe not gripping on any terrain in any weather conditions, so fantastic outsole. So there you have it. It has been a really pleasurable experience running in the Trailfly Ultras, and it has kind of become my go-to shoe when it comes to running longer distances, which I'm very surprised about. But there is a few things we have to highlight. Number one, and probably the most obvious thing, is the price point of the shoe. I've never had so many comments after a review that we had after our first impressions review of this shoe about price point of a shoe. Even when we did our review on the Nike Alphafly, that's £100 more than this shoe. I totally understand developing new compounds and working with new innovations is an expensive business, and I'm sure inov-8 have sunk a lot of money into the development of graphene, into the midsole and into the outsole rubber. But you can't get away from the price point of the shoe. It is expensive. When we did our first impressions review, we didn't actually have the price point. It hadn't been released yet. And I knew going off the Terra Ultra G270 at 145, it was going to be more than that. And I thought, 150, 155 tops. So I was really surprised when they released the price point at 170. The only other thing is that thin tongue in the shoe again. Don't get me wrong, this tongue is a massive improvement for me compared to the Terra Ultra G270. I've had no issues with it, but just a little bit more padding in the right areas again would just increase comfort, especially over long distances. So as you can tell, it's been a very positive experience running in this new trail running shoe from inov-8. And I've got to be honest, I never thought there'd come a day where I'd be reaching for my shoe rack and pulling out an inov-8 shoe for my longer runs from all the shoes that I've got available to run in. But we've reached that time when it's time to get some points on the Run4Adventure board. So let's get scoring the Trailfly Ultra G 300 Max, and let's start with the price first. Well, all I can say is scoring is going to get a lot more positive from here on in. There's no denying this is a really good trail running shoe, especially for running long distances on a big mix of terrains, but you can't get away from the fact that £170 is a lot of money. And I have to be honest, when I review product at Run4Adventure, I think 150, 155, inov-8 might have just got away with it. Still expensive, but a bit more affordable. So because all of that, we're going to score the Trailfly Ultra G 300 Max a very expensive 4 out of 10. I am honestly gutted giving that score out for this shoe because I've really enjoyed it. The shoes run great. But anyway, let's move on to the next category, and next up is comfort and performance. I think the shoe's going to score a bit higher when it comes to this category. It's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed my experience running in the shoe. Very comfortable, great lockdown in the upper, and you still feel a good level of connection underfoot even with this deep midsole. A great balance of comfort, energy return and ground feel from this G-Fly compound. And it has to have one of the grippiest outsoles on any trail running shoe on the marketplace at the moment. Great levels of traction on all surfaces in all weather conditions. I've got a couple of really long races coming up this year. So at the end of May, we've got the Grand Union Canal, 145 miles, starting at Birmingham, following the Grand Union Canal all the way into the centre of London. And then later in the year, we've got the TDS at UTMB. So 140k in the Alps in mountainous terrain with 9,100 meters of elevation. And this shoe is definitely in the mix when it comes to the shoes I'm going to select for both of them races. So when it comes to the comfort and performance of this shoe, it has to score high, and it's going to come in with a very impressive 9 out of 10. Last always to score at Run4Adventure is durability, and the shoe looks really solid when it comes down to the construction. Obviously, having graphene in that rubber compound on the outsole and the foam compound in the midsole, we should get hundreds and hundreds of miles from them two components. Obviously, I thought the other day that's no good if the upper falls to pieces in 200 miles, but I'm glad to say that is not the case. The upper looks to be holding up really well. We've done 70 miles in the shoe. There's no signs of early wear on that upper at all. We've got some nice sort of rubber overlays around that toe box to give you a bit more durability at the flex points, looking really good. There's no early wear when it comes to that Graphene Grip rubber on the outsole, and I've done a fair bit of road mileage in the shoe as well, and no wear on that outsole at all. So durability is looking really good when it comes to the Trailfly Ultra. So we're going to score it a well-constructed 9 out of 10 when it comes down to durability. So tallying all those points up, the Trailfly Ultra G 300 Max scores a solid 22 out of 30. That score obviously would have been a lot higher if it hadn't been for the price point of this shoe, and it would have actually been one of our highest scoring trail shoes ever on the channel. As far as the super subjective topic of looks, I really like this bold statement colour that inov-8 have done on this shoe. Obviously inov-8 are really known for that green and black colourway in their shoes, and it looks great on the Trailfly Ultra. I get a lot of comments from people when I'm wearing it. Kind of reminds me of a Kawasaki motorbike from the sort of 1980s, but great colourway. As far as comparisons to the Trailfly Ultra, I would say Hoka Speedgoat 4, again, another very deep cushion midsole trail running shoe. Outsole has Vibram Mega Grip rubber, so a good level of traction from that outsole. You've also obviously got the Terra Ultra G270 that we reviewed earlier in the year. Similar type of shoe. We've got that Graphene Grip rubber on the outsole, but it is a zero drop, so if you're into that zero drop thing, that's definitely an option. And then last up, we just started running in Topo's Ultra Venture 2. Again, a deep cushion trail shoe, nice level of cushioning, Vibram rubber on the outsole, and it has a good width in the toe box as well, very similar to the inov-8 shoe. So there's a few comparisons for you, but it's reset time in the review, so let's wrap this up with a quick conclusion. So if price of your running shoes is not an issue and you are looking for that trail running shoe that is going to take you across all different types of terrain all year round in all kinds of weather conditions, then this shoe is definitely worth checking out. Or if you're looking for that distance shoe, you know, a shoe that's going to take you through ultra distance, 100 milers or beyond. Or, like me, if you've tried inov-8 shoes before and you felt they were a bit too stripped back when it came to padding and underfoot protection, then these bad boys might be worth checking out with this deeper, more cushioned midsole in the shoe. And I almost forgot, I meant to mention this in the performance part of the review, these boomerang footbeds from inov-8 that you get in the Trailfly Ultra and in the Terra Ultra G270. And they're also very similar to the footbeds that are in the Craft Ultra Carbon shoe that we reviewed just back on the channel. These are brilliant. Great little insoles in the shoe. They really do add another level of sort of comfort, cushioning and rebound to your trail running shoes. So a great little feature in the Trailfly Ultras. But that is another wrap on another review at Run4Adventure. Really hope you enjoyed it, guys. Hope you found it helpful. If you did, give us a big thumbs up, like the video. It really helps the channel out when it comes to the crazy YouTube algorithms. And why not subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've left links in the description below for the Trailfly Ultra G 300 Max if you want to find out any more information. And we'd love to hear your feedback, guys. Have you got a pair of these trail shoes? How are you finding them? How are you finding the performance? Do you think it's worth that £170 price point? Let us know in the comments below. Just before we go, don't forget to check out all the awesome merch available at Run4Adventure.uk. We got some wicked premium hoodies, some great t-shirts and some really colourful multi-wraps available. And speaking of merch, we're just about to drop some really exciting news on the channel. We've been working really hard on something at Run4Adventure. We can't wait to show you it. Really excited about it. That will be coming very soon. But thanks for watching, guys. We will see you back on the channel very soon. And as always, stay safe and keep on running.